Morning. Legendary pop band Wet 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 are celebrating the 20th anniversary of their massive album Picture This. They're joining me with news of a big tour. Singer-songwriter... Our first guests are members of one of Scotland's most famous bands. I'm not talking about the SNP. They've spent an impressive 510 weeks in the charts, and with over 30 hits, including 3 #1s to their credit, they're soon to be setting off on a huge tour. Here to brighten up your Wet 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 weekend, please welcome Marti, Pellow and Cunningham. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Hello, mate. Hey. So you're the only two in the band that could be bothered to get up this morning.
We're the only ones that can put two words together. That's what it is. Yeah.
Has it really been 20 years since that album?
20 years since Picture This, and it's as much a revelation, you know, when we were told, you know, that's 20 years, that we thought, you know, it seems to be like yesterday.
Yeah.
The recollections I've got of the album Picture This is we recorded it all around the world because we were so busy back then. We were in Capri, we went to France, we were in America.
Oh, it must have been awful.
It was horrendous.
And the biggest song, the Love Is All Around song, was recorded in Glasgow, just about 100 yards from our homes, you know, so it's a truly international kind of album.
And of course, there's a massive tour next year, 17 dates?
February and March 2016. Where are we going? We're going from Inverness, right up in the north, all the way down to the south coast. Wales and Ireland as well, yeah. So we're covering the whole country. And I guess where we're lucky in this is we're still getting to play the arenas, so it's still the big shows. And Wet 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 concentrating our shows, we do the big screen, the explosions, the lasers.
Of course
we make sure we entertain.
Because you're going to re-release the album as well and go on a tour. And the re-released album is going to have some sort of bonus tracks and extras and all that business.
Yeah, and the good thing also about that is we're hoping to do some more writing for it as well, so we're going to add some songs as songwriters today as well, so you'll have some new songs as well, some old songs as well, so that's interesting from the point of view of a fan.
It's kind of funny how the business has changed. For us, we started off back in '87, believe it or not, is when we first...
1887.
1887, yeah.
Glad you said that.
And back then it was 100 miles an hour. We just started, because we came kind of from the dole, and you know, we were unemployed, and then from there it was an international kind of, you know, success. I was going to say stardom there, but I don't like that word.
Well, because you've said before, I think the band was formed in 1982, and it was a choice of crime, football or music.
Yes, yes, and we were rubbish at crime. We kept getting caught.
Yeah, no good with that.
Yeah. Football, I was the goalie.
OK.
Yep, and me, you know, I was just happy to be working.
That was our football.
That's a showbiz.
And one of the last members to join the band was Mark McLaughlin.
Oh yes, yes. Mark McLaughlin, I should say. Yeah. It's you know, and Mark is my real name, and Pellow was my mother's maiden name, and well, Marty's just showbiz, and it just sort of stuck with us.
What do the band call you now? Do they call you Mark?
Well, there's a few things the band call me actually over the decades, and all of them are just as appropriate.
He who must be obeyed.
Oh, is that what it is? So he's the boss?
No. Singer syndrome.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm not saying anything because I'm with you there. Hey, listen, we're at the front, so fair play.
Well, this is it.
Do you remember where you were and how you felt when you heard that first hit of yours on the radio?
Yeah, the first time that it really resonated was I was in a club, and it was a 12-inch remix of Wishing I Was Lucky that we'd sent out to all the DJs, and I remember hearing it and I'm thinking, oh, I hope people don't empty the dance floor with it. But I was happy to say everybody got up and started dancing, and then you sort of see, you know, the journey of the song, and everybody's having a good time and connecting with it, and you thought, I mean, it was a bit embarrassing when I stood up and said, that's me, but yeah, sure.
How about you?
It was not very glamorous, a fish and chip shop.
Chip shop.
Do you know that scene from the movie? What's the movie where they all stand in the line?
Full Monty.
Full Monty, that's the very moment. So I'm standing in a fish and chip shop in Glasgow, waiting to get, we put my order in, and Wishing I Was Lucky came on the radio. And I was a bit like, you know, so there's the line, and I was the guy doing it. I was sitting doing the moves from the video and all that, and going, I'm on the radio. Everyone else in the shop's going, who's this clown? You know, fish and chips, every time I walk past a shop, I still just think of Wishing I Was Lucky, you know.
Amazing. As you say, you were so successful. The biggest hits, the Trogs, Love Is All Around.
Love Is All Around.
15 weeks at #1.
Yeah, a phenomenal time for us. You know, it was a bit of a whirlwind. As Tommy said earlier, you know, the Picture This album, we were recording at the moment, and every time, every Thursday, we'd leave Capri, or every Wednesday night we'd leave Capri, the island of Capri we were recording in, and we go to Naples Airport and fly in and do Top of the Pops and then fly back again. So it was great because every week, you know, you think, oh, maybe this is the last week, and then it was just, it just became this phenomenon.
It would still be in the charts now, wouldn't it? But you had it deleted.
Yeah, we thought it was time to put it to bed, you know, because it was eating chocolate every day. And we thought, OK, enough's enough, because we wanted to focus on the pitch of this album. And it was just, it was, you know, enough time has passed with that song that we see it for what it is.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful pop song. And Reg Presley, who's no longer with us, I always remember when he came to visit us in Glasgow and we played the song for him live, and he said to us, I love what you've done with our song. And, you know, and it's a song now that we hold close to our hearts, and so do gabillions of other people.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Back then in the recording career, I think today it's more about life. Although new material is very important,
Sure.
moving forward, but Love Is All Around, still this song
Yeah.
that sets the roof on fire every time we play it.
And I mentioned the success, you know, #1 albums, hits galore, worldwide tours all over the place. Is it true that you once had, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but you once had a curry flown from Glasgow to New York?
Yeah, as you do. As you do. And it was quite funny because we phoned the gentleman up and said, do you do home delivery? Of which his answer was, yes, no problem. Like, you got a passport? He said, yes. So those sort of things you do. You know when you're very drunk.
Well, I suppose you can.
When you can, aye. So you send the wet jet over, he picks up the curry, he flies it back. We're there waiting.
Very, very
Naan breads don't travel that well.
Funny that.
Funny that.
I think you should have just flown the chef over. You could have done it fresh for you.
It all makes sense when you're... Obviously,
In retrospect, we look at it and go, I've done that.
Do you know what I've got a
think it
taste
through.
for? Aye, you know what I've got a taste for? You know?
Brilliant.
We had eaten burgers a great deal. We'd been in the States for a very long time, been away from home for about 200 days out of the year, and someone, probably yourself, just went, anyone fancy
I'm not taking the blame for that. I'm not taking the blame for that price of that home delivery.
That's a great idea. Let's get a curry.
How great was it in the height of that fame?
I've got a kind of philosophy on this. We started off on the dole with absolutely nothing, and the dream was to have that success that we'd all, you know, we aspire to it, and we watched it on TV and went, wouldn't it be great to hit those heights? When you get to those heights, it's bizarre to say it, but it isn't what you think it's going to be. It's a very hollow victory when you end up at #1. You really sort of think, is that it? Does anything else happen? It doesn't change you. You're still the same person inside. So coming out the other side of that and having a normal life and looking back, you can go, you can cherry pick and go, there's the great moments. But what you really need is to be as stable and as down to earth as you can be. That's the way to survive in this business. It's not to be highfalutin glamour and attending every party. It's to stay grounded and be normal.
And what I like also is that you've got other strings to your bow, if you like. You know, you do the musical theatre. I know you're going back to Blood Brothers in the autumn.
Yeah, I love Willie Russell's.
And you've got your pub.
I have. We grew up in Clydebank. It's a very small town. And right on the edge of it is this tiny little bar. And at age 17, slightly underage, I remember going in. We were yoppers, remember? We were YTS back at the time. And we went in at age 17, had a little shandy. And then fast forward 15 years, it's up for sale. And I'm like, I'm having that. I'm having that bar. So I still stand in the same place, speak to the same people.
Fantastic.
And it's that thing about being grounded.
Yeah.
So I get to do that and live this normal life, bring the kids up, do it. And then the phone goes and it's like, do you want to go and do the O2? Do you want to tour the UK? Yeah, I'm doing that.
That sounds brilliant.
It's like a busman's holiday. It's fabulous.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, I wish you all success with the album, the tour and everything. And I've got to say massive thank you to you because I've only ever done karaoke once on a Club 1830 holiday to Magaluf in Spain. And I got up having had maybe a shandy or two.
Oh, yes.
And I actually won being you.
Oh,
Really?
man!
I then went the big and started shooting. I did that song, and
Temptation.
but you know what was great?
And
The
the
woman who
winner
gave me
is-
the awards went, "You're quite good. Maybe one day you could make it a career." And I'd already had one. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
You'll stay with me for the show?
You got it.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely great. After the break, we'll be joined by... And you studied at the BRIT School, I know that. Hard work? It was musical theatre that you were mastering, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think people forget that I did musical theatre for 2 years, and a year into that I realised that it didn't allow me to be as creative as I wanted to be because I was singing somebody else's words and playing a character. And so for me it was a question. At that point I'd started writing, and I'd sort of, as a teenager, felt like I had something to say that I could share with people my age and whatever age, really.
I know that Adele also made a huge impact on you in the BRIT School.
Yeah, that was amazing. Part of the things that we get to do at the BRIT School is we get to go to the BRIT Awards once as like a school trip.
Okay.
Which is the
That's
most...
a nice school
I know,
trip. I think I went
it's
to
quite
Chester
a
Zoo.
glamorous school trip. But so then I remember I was up in the gods watching Adele sing Someone Like You. And I think Jessie J picked up Critics' Choice that year as well, and she went to the Brit School as well, so it was like a big Brit year for us. So it was amazing to be there, to be a part of it, and then just that. When Adele sung that, it was just
They allowed us to go on the BRIT Awards once as well. Only once did we get to go there. We were the newcomers and we got our fancy award, which still sits pride of place in the house. You come in and say, what's that? This is my BRIT Award, man.
The BRIT Award.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Great night.
You got a Mobo Award, of course.
I've got a Brit Award as well.
And a Brit Award as well.
Oh, now you're showing off. Awards, come on.
No, the Brit Award was for a song that I collaborated with.
Well, that doesn't really get...
So you've got half a Brit Award then?
Half a Brit Award, but I still got the full thing.
Do you still pinch yourself that all this is happening? Yeah.
I'm listening to B.B. King a lot now, since he passed away.
Yeah,
and like, I obviously knew who he was, but I didn't know quite how amazing it was, so I've just been obsessed for the last couple of days.
An incredible body of work, you know, you look at someone that spans decades and decades.
Yeah.
You know, amazing.
And you mentioned earlier on that you write for...
It looks like great fun, doesn't it?
You must have been asked to represent the UK on Eurovision, haven't you?
No, as a matter of fact, no, we weren't, actually.
No, I think we were. I think at one point there was...
well, that went well.
Listen,
Although they kind of look like lions anyway, but this just
oh, there we
adds to
go.
it.
Does that come in our sizes?
I know, I wish it did.
Wet, Wet, Wet. The Big Picture Tour 2016. See Wet, Wet, Wet live throughout the UK. For ticket details, go to wetwetwet.co.uk.
Crazy, yeah. I turned 21 on the first live show, and I'm 30.
Young boy, still a young boy.
Feeling it in these bad boys.
You're still a young boy.
But, you know, it was a crazy time. Shropshire, that's what I felt like. It took me out of Manchester and just dropped me in London, and then I was owned by, you know, Psycho Records.
Shayne, can I actually say that the same thing happened to us? We were a band and we were in control of it, but it really is equally as intense for us at the height of it all. The difference is there was 4 of us.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. So we could kind of bounce off each other and protect each other.
Yeah. Well, I was by myself. You know, I'm quite blessed that I come. I mean, I remember the first time going back, and I actually remember them looking at me like differently. I felt them looking at me differently. They're like going, "You're my brother," but you know what I mean. It's
I
like,
absolutely get that when you're on TV.
But it's me. It's your brother. We're like, we know, but it's just really weird.
You mentioned the line.
And you know, help. You know, you have to stick to the
Shayne,
original
you just
people.
need a little bit of patience.
Absolutely.
I knew you were a Take That fan. I could tell now. Listen, you